Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called The Public. In The Public, an unusually bitter Arctic blast has made its way to downtown Cincinnati and the front doors of the public library where the action of the film takes place. At odds with library officials over how to handle the extreme weather event, some homeless patrons turn the building into a shelter for the night by staging an Occupy sit in. What begins as an act of civil disobedience becomes a standoff with police and a rush to judgment media constantly speculating about what's really happening. This David versus Goliath story tackles some of our nation's most challenging issues homelessness and mental illness and sets the drama inside one of the last bastions of democracy in action, your public library. This is a 2019 film. It is rated PG 13. It runs 2 hours and it stars everybody on the front, plus more probably. Alec Baldwin, Gabrielle Union, Emilio Estevez, it was good to see him. Jeffrey Wright, Jenna Malone, Michael Williams, Taylor Schilling, Shay Smith, Christian Slater, and Jacob Vargas. This is The Public. Well, like I said, it's really nice to see Emilio Estevez do something. I think it's been a while. I can't think of what the last thing he did was, but it this is an all-star cast, and I knew it going in by looking at the front cover. Otherwise, I didn't really know anything about what was going on with this. When it starts out with this really weird scene in black and white, and it starts to talk about Emilio and some other people working at this library, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be really real, like real life, real situations. And I didn't know it was about that, and it was kind of nice to see something a little bit more relatable. I mean, oh, sorry about my light. Sorry. So, anyways, it was really nice to see something kind of a more relatable movie. I go to my library almost every day to get movies like this and others, that were in theaters or weren't, and I want to be able to see. And libraries are wonderful for that, but you don't think about them, serving people who have nowhere to go, and being there all day long as a refuge for people to go to the bathroom and other stuff. I mean, like normal people, just our lives are so busy, we don't think about stuff like this. And so this is a crazy movie to watch that everybody really should see, just to be exposed to what real life situations are going on nowadays and how real it is for some people on a day-to-day basis. This is not a made-up movie. This is authentically raw about what most people in most towns have to deal with if you go to your library at all, or if you have homelessness in your town, which most people, well, every town in America almost does. So um yeah, I want to say about the All Star cast, because I'm not going to break down every single one, but generally, everybody in this movie plays their part just right. And, you have two guys running for mayor that kind of invest themselves in the situation, depending on their personality. And that's a little cheesy. You see what's coming, you know what's coming. And I would Well, my light is not gonna like me today. I'm gonna get that thing changed. But anyways, I think the All Star cast really helps this. Everybody plays their part. A couple people have to kind of have repeating lines, and that kind of hurts the movie a little bit, but nothing like shocking. Like, oh, he's just saying the same thing over and over again. If you're thinking that at all, it's probably about what's his name, Christian Slater, and so I mean, like he kind of plays the biggest character in this, and he doesn't really need to be around the situation, but he is, and he's kind of the one that kind of gets in the way, but he adds animosity and everything else. I'd say the person that is most underwhelming, and I hate to say this about most of his roles and most of the movies that he does, but Alec Baldwin. Like, he's supposed to be, he's actually, somebody actually says that he's one of the best crisis negotiators, at all, ever. And, like, especially the best one on staff. And throughout parts of the movie, it doesn't seem like he's really doing anything. He doesn't really have anything to say. He's just kind of there. He's being overshadowed by this mayoral candidate, and I just don't know. I just kind of felt a little bit useless with Alec Baldwin, but he plays a good character. But the couple things that he has to deal with, I feel like he could have handled it a little bit better. Be a little bit shocked. Be a little bit more personable. There's great material surrounding him. I just don't feel like he handles it that well. As far as the homeless, they're all good. They all have wonderful things to say. They're funny. They're relatable. They're understandable with what they're going through. It's a tough situation. Um, I'd say the biggest kind of like far stretched criticism here, okay, but kind of my nagging thing is as we get towards the end, there's certain things that should have been like included in this. Like, I was thinking about it along the way, because you know how you try to like predict things, I mean, with movies, you try to see things coming, and if you do, if you know exactly what's coming, you say that movie sucks. Well, this one, I had things I thought I knew were coming, and some happened, but in a different way. And there were some nice surprises and things I didn't see coming. And then there's these things that I thought should have been in the movie, but they weren't. And I don't exactly care for how they handled the ending, because I thought they should have handled it a little differently. And I want people to go see this, but I also can't explain exactly very vividly what I wanted to be in the movie, but I don't want to give anything away because it's kind of a crazy movie. But I will admit to you that there's enough nudity to probably make you uncomfortable and probably not want to look at the screen. And I don't, I didn't really care for that, obviously. But I don't know who will, but it's just kind of a crazy thing in the movie that they felt like they had to handle it a certain way, and I wish they would have handled it a certain way other than that. So, generally, I liked this movie. It kind of came out of nowhere and just struck me. And there's a line for this news reporter girl that she's like the worst news reporter ever. I love that part. Some of the jokes between the homeless are good. The ending is kind of funny and kind of, stick it to the man kind of thing, but we just don't have any resolution. And so I think that this is a B movie. I would love to give it an A, but I just don't know if, with how uncomfortable I was and kind of how slow it kind of gets, kind of has how murky it is, a couple repeating lines here and there. It just kind of drags a little bit, and I think it could have done. It likes to be funny, and I think it could have done a little bit more there to just keep things moving, and maybe that would have helped it a little bit. But stacked cast, good comedy, good story, good drama, kind of an okay ending. I think it's good for a B rating. I'm gonna give this a B plus because I just can't imagine watching it again. But I had a great time watching it the one time I did, so I'll give the public a B plus. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would, and enjoy your movies. Thanks.